Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Chelyabinsk Zinc Plant FY 2007 IFRS Financial Results Conference Call hosted by Sergei Moiseev. My name's Richard and I'll be your event manager today. Throughout the conference you'll remain on listen only. If you need assistance at any time during the call, then please key *0 and a coordinator will be pleased to assist you. I'd like to advise all parties this conference is being recorded for web replay purposes, and now I'd like to hand over to Sergei. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to full year 2007 CZP earnings conference. My name is Sergei Moiseev. I'm the chairman of Chelyabinsk Zinc, and with me today are commercial director Berislav Galovich. He'll enlighten you on the market situation, and our CFO, Mr. Boris Berman, who will follow Mr. Galovich. Let's move to slide 2 for those who use us interactively. I would like to say a few words on the disclaimer before we proceed. Note that various remarks we make about the future expectations, plans, and prospects of the company constitute forward-looking statements. All forward-looking statements involve known and unknown risks, uncertainties, and other factors that may cause the actual results to differ materially. I would also like to apologize for two things. We changed the date of our conference call from tomorrow to today. The earlier the better. But we will not have the JORC report on Amur as promised to be on that conference call. We will have that ready in time for the annual shareholder meeting that is to be held on June 27th. I will now turn the call over to our commercial director, Mr. Berislav Galovich, who will start with zinc and lead market update and will also review our operational results. Mr. Berman will follow with the comments on CZP financials, and then we will be happy to answer your question. Berislav.
Good afternoon, everybody. If we start with the slide number 4, zinc daily price and stock levels, I think this picture is known to everybody. We can see that since the 2006, zinc price started sliding down, and the dip in the price was much bigger than the reserves that grow on LME stocks. Well, this can be very easily everybody with a sentiment towards zinc, which is always a little bit on the negative side when things start turning differently and when the earning is not enough. China, this is slide number 5. China is the most important player on the world market. Played and will play a most important role when the decision and about the price, about the stocks are in question. As you can see, in 2007, China imported a lot of concentrate. That's due to the fact that they built a number of new smelters, and although most of the production stayed in China, they managed to export quite a lot, which affected the price, and that's why the price partly started going down. Zinc metal world balance in 2007 eventually, as everybody predicts, started turning to a surplus of zinc on the stocks. It's not significant, but it did change the sentiment towards the zinc price. When the lead is in question, in 2007, things happened which nobody actually expected. The traders which used to trade in lead for long times never could predict that the lead price will reach just about 3,000, and they couldn't even explain why and up to 4,000 actually, and they couldn't explain why it happened. One of the explanations is the Chinese market, due to the increase in the number of cars sold in China, produced in China, and the number of the new plants opened, battery plants, did affect it. And since the production and the smelters in the world did not increase the capacity, except for China, partly, this had a big impact on the price. Chinese lead trade and the lead metal world balance just proves what I said. And they increased production, decreased actually export, which everybody would say it's not, how come that didn't affect the price differently? But apparently, since they are the biggest consumers at the same time, this didn't happen. And little by little, the stocks of the lead started changing toward today's situation which we have on the market, and that's lead price going down, and the stocks of the lead increasing from 40,000 tons to 83,000 tons, which is quite low. That's why we predict that the lead price will continue sliding down, but not so much as last number of months. Zinc market overview, when the CIF situation just confirmed the figures which we have for 2007, confirmed that what we already know, that we are increasing our production and will continue increasing. Electro zinc stays on the level which he had for the last number of years. And but we do think that the next year or this year even they'll increase it for another 10,000 tons due to the investment in upgrading the production. Zinc is doing a small improvement of production, and that's why the increase is not very much, and that will continue to be on this level. Kazakh mist, on the other hand, is sort of a surprise. They were supposed to go up to 100,000, close to 100,000 tons, but due to the technical problems which they have, they dropped down to 45, and we believe this year they'll be even lower than this. There are some rumors that they will even close their zinc production. Al-Malik, on the other hand, which had problems and will have a problem due to the lack of the raw material, lack of the financial means, lack of the experienced people. And because of the falling price, did not have a support from the traders. That's why the figure went down, and this year they are still on the low level. CSI zinc market overview. This is a big map. I don't know, should I comment it? If anybody has a question, they can ask later on. Russian zinc market structure. When the concept is in question, the picture which we had for a number of years is continuing. The production is not enough to cover the need of two big producers, electro zinc and Chelyabinsk. So we are forced to import about 60,000 tons of dry concentrate, and we will continue to do so. When there is a question, why then export? Well, the export is actually Dal-Polymetal, which is very far away, and due to the very high cost of transport, it's not economically feasible to take this. It is much cheaper to buy from Antwerp and so on. Refined zinc production is growing, but not growing so much. And due to that, we had to, due to our increase of our production, we had to export more than we did previous years. This will change this year and next year even more due to the new capacities of galvanizing production that will open in Russia soon. Consumers, as you can see, galvanizers are the biggest consumers, and the ratio which you see on this circular diagram will continue to stay approximately the same. Growing in the galvanizing steel capacity will continue. This year we are expecting MMK to open a new line, and by the end of the year we're going to have a Severstyle opening to their own line. So next year, I predicted we're going to have an increase of the local production by approximately 45 to 50,000 tons of zinc consumption. Well, the car market, the Russian car market is in question, and plant production, the news that everybody has that the opening of the new factories in Russia around Moscow, around Leningrad is known to everybody. So this graph, I think, only confirms the news that we are getting. Construction growth, all that's visible on each step of in Moscow and Chelyabinsk, so everywhere around Russia there is a lot of construction going on, and this will continue. When the Chelyabinsk zinc plant is in question, last year we produced 165,000 tons of zinc. Sellable zinc was about 148,000 tons. Indium, we decreased production, but that's due to it's a side product actually, and it depends on the content of the indium in the concentrates we are buying. Obviously, in 2007, the content of the indium wasn't very high, and we were not actually aiming to have it because indium was stable in 2007, and we didn't want to pay so much. Cadmium is on the level which we had traditionally, and sulfuric acid is something which we produce about on 1 ton of zinc, 2 tons of, a little bit less than 2 tons of sulfuric acid. So as long as we produce zinc, will produce sulfuric acid, and we don't have a problem actually to get rid of it. We are selling it very well this year. Domestic sales did fall in 2007 compared to 2006. The reasons were, the main reason actually was the high price of zinc. We stimulated production, and not only production, different investments from traders to Al-Kash to Al-Malik. Then after that they put the zinc back to the Russian market. So it was profitable to them, so the pressure was quite high. Besides this, our main producer, due to the little stall of the Russian market, and we are selling the main producer of the galvanized steel, did not perform as we predicted. That's why we had a little dip. This year, this picture is changing dramatically in our favor, and we do think we'll be on the level of 84, even more thousand tons on the domestic market. Customers, as you can see, Brock became our customer. That's a company that we fully own in UK. Magnitogorsk is continuing to be supplied exclusively by us. Novolipizsk is a customer that comes and goes, not because they are choosing to do that. It's more that we are choosing in negotiation the clients that pay us back more than the others. So we will continue. They will continue on the same level this year as the last year, and we don't see there anything strange. Everstal is turning more towards us because although they are the closest one to the border, and one could say that they will be the logical target for a foreign supplier. But after 1 year of trying and importing from Brazil and from Finland, they will turn to us, and they will continue to be our good partner. Euromin, well, that's nothing to say. We do sell most of our, just about everything on the west coast Euromin. Others, it's important to say, due to the fall down on the consumption of our big buyers, we did concentrate on the smaller buyers, which at the same time brought bigger profit to us because the premium was higher than the usual premium. Mining segment is mainly, I suppose, Agshal, which shows increase in ore mined, but at the same time decrease in the zinc output. That's due to the fall of the zinc percentage in the ore grade. We are doing quite a lot of work there to change this dramatically, and I do think that already this year, the next year, the output of the zinc concentrate and lead concentrate will be. When the raw materials of supplies in question, we have a traditional suppliers. The domestic market will actually is our mine, so it's going to be our new supplier and will be our supplier for many years to come. UGMK, we have a long-term contract with them, which continues to work, and since they are producing slightly above the quantity they planned, that's why we have more and more concentrates coming from UGMK. RCC, the Russian copper company, they did not perform according to what they promised and according to the contract they signed with us. But I talked with them and they explained that they have difficulties in opening a new or new mines in Kazakhstan and in Chelyabinsk and some other regions around Chelyabinsk. Polymetal in 2007 delivered 9,500 tons of zinc from paint and concentrate. That was the end of the long-term contract we had with them. But once the price started falling, we decided not to buy anymore from them because the transport costs started to increase dramatically. But we split with them, if that can be said, in a nice way, so we still have a contact and we still do get offers from them those days. Other domestic players, that's small mines around Chelyabinsk, which perform according to how much they manage to get out of the earth. Import is something which we plan on the long term, but it's flexible depending on the local supplies. So we can always increase or decrease in a certain amount according to our needs. And secondary is something which very much depends on, we have an obligation and we do about 25,000 tons each year. But we can increase it and decrease it depending on the constant price on the world market and our needs in technology. And that would be it from my side when the commercial side of the report is in question. I do now hand over to Mr. Bierman, the Financial Director of Chelyabinsk Zinc Plant.
Thank you, Mr. Gavrovich. Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Our income statement highlights on slide 20. You have already seen the numbers. Our revenue in 2007 increased by 4% compared to the previous year and reached 15.5 billion rubles. The reasons for that increase are consolidation of Brok, increased lead price, and it could be higher, but the fallen dollar interfered. So at the favorable dollar rate, the change could be about 10%. The gross profit went down by 22% and was 3,800 million rubles. The margin came down from 32 to 24%. The reasons are increased relative concentrate price, increased cost, energy, fuel, and basically all the others, and again consolidation of Brok metal because their standalone margin is very low. You will see on the next one of the next slide. Same relates to EBITDA. The EBITDA margin went down from 33 to 24%, and it reached 3 billion and 100 million rubles. The net income went down by 33% and the margin went down from 19 to 12%, mostly due to the same reasons. On the next slide, you can see that LME zinc price basically didn't change in 2007 compared to 2006. The fall was only 1%, but during the year it went down from 3,900 January average to $2,300 in December. Luckily, the lead price increased more to 2,600, and it helped us a bit in our bottom line. The ruble and Kazakh tenge appreciated against the dollar. For the other currencies, and 6% for ruble or 3% for tenge, which was not favorable for our financial results. On slide 22, you can see our revenue structure by product. Zinc and zinc alloys increased due to our own zinc production, Chelyabinsk zinc plant, plus zinc and zinc alloys sold by Brok. Zinc concentrate went down to zero because in 2006 we sold Akjal zinc concentrate to Glencore. We were performing the long-term contract which expired in December of 2006, and now all zinc concentrate is consumed internally by Chelyabinsk zinc plant. Lead concentrate sales increased by 7% due to favorable lead price, and others increased by 81%. The reason for this again, lead price, because there is some lead cake in this others, plus others implied some non-zinc alloys sold by Brok metal, aluminium, and copper alloys, and as already said, total sales increased by 4%. Slide 23, we allocate our revenue structure by destinations. The main ones usually are Russian Federation and Europe. As Mr. Galovich already told you, we slightly decreased our sales in Russia and accordingly increased our sales in Europe. Kazakhstan increased compared to previous year again. It is due to higher price of lead, plus we sold some zinc to Kazakhstan. On next slide, number 24, you can see our cost of sales structure, which is very familiar to most of you. Again, the biggest part of the pie is materials and consumables, and almost more than 90% of it is in concentrate. In total, materials and consumables are 71% of our consolidated cost of sales. Utilities and fuel 10%, depreciation 9%, repairs and maintenance 4%, 3% staff costs, and 3% all the others. If we go to slide 25, we can see sharp increase in distribution costs. The reason for this are consolidation of Brok, then more complete consolidation of Akjal. As you surely remember, we did not consolidate the full 2006 of Akjal into our consolidated results. Plus, in 2007, we had to sell more zinc abroad, exports, and of course, distribution costs and this destination are higher than selling within Russia. As for general and administrative costs, if we deduct 40 million of Brok, we can see that they are exactly on the same level as we were in 2006. Slide 26, you can see our performance by segment. The most profitable one, or the most moderate margin one. Don't know what is suggested. Related? No. Sorry. The higher margin is given by Nova Zinc, and then the EBITDA margin is 55%, and we expect it to be high in the future. 11 Zinc standalone gives 21% of EBITDA margin, and Proc Metal only 3%, which is very logical because they buy zinc, or aluminium, and sell alloys. So their most of their costs, as will be seen lower, is in metal they buy. Structure by segment on slide 27. 11 Zinc plant, 75% is zinc concentrate, 9% energy and fuel, 4% depreciation, 3% maintenance and repair, just 1% staff cost, and 7% distribution, selling, and general and administrative. In case of Nova Zinc, on the right-hand side of the diagram, you can see that 15% of their cost is materials, 12% energy and fuel, 16% depreciation, 7% repairs and maintenance, 12% staff, 16% others, and 14 of the 16 is transportation of waste, which is partly performed by a contractor, and 23% relates to selling, general, and administrative. Slide 28 illustrates that more than 90% of Proc's cost is metal they buy, and 2% is staff, 4% is selling, general, and administrative, and just 1% is utilities and fuel for others. So actually, the structure of their cost is more typical for a trading company than for a producer. On slide 29, we show our balance sheet highlights. You can see that our total debt went down from 3.5 billion rubles to 2.6. We kept repaying our loans according to the schedule. Our net debt on this slide is 1.64 billion rubles, but a conservative approach in our management accounts, our amount of net debt is 1.09 billion rubles. The difference is in some long-term deposits, which, according to IFRS, are not added to our cash, but in reality we can transfer them to cash any minute. On slide 30, you can see our cash flow analysis. Our net cash generated from operating activities was 1.9 billion rubles. It was spent 1 billion to investing activities, 700 to financing activities, and accordingly it was almost no changes in cash, net increase of 57 million rubles. Slide 31, CapEx. We finished the construction of Elsteel Kiln number 5 in 2007. The portion of investment in 2007 to complete the kiln was 114 million rubles, and it was a very fruitful investment. We started producing zinc from our stockpile zinc cake. That's nothing. We invested 500 million rubles in sulfuric acid unit number 4, and We will finish it this summer, almost finish it. Our long-term investments in Agile were just 40 million rubles in 2007, but we are going to invest much more in the current year. And we invested 2,019 million rubles into the exploration of Amur City. And I'll just read the next slide. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Your questions are very welcome.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your question answer session will now begin. If you wish to ask a question, please key *1 on your telephone keypad, record your name and push the hash key. If you change your mind and decide to withdraw your question, simply key *2. All questions will be answered in the order received, and you'll be advised when to ask your question. All of the lines will remain on listen only. Okay, the first question comes from the line of
Sergey Donskoy. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for the presentation. I have several questions. Maybe we'll ask a few which are maybe more important ones. First of all, I maybe have missed that. Your sales on domestic market in the past attracted a significant premium to the LME price. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was 15% last year. Did you manage to retain or preserve same premium this year, or what it should be in percentage terms or in dollars per ton? And what's your outlook for the more remote future, if that's possible? So that's question number one. Question number two is, could you provide some guidance what concentrate cost do you expect this year in terms of percentage of LME price, and well, including or excluding scrap purchases? Also, could you remind when do you plan to renegotiate your long-term contracts with the with your main Russian suppliers of concentrate, and do you think that terms in terms of percentage of LME price may change to whatever side? And third question, it's actually on the realized price of lead from Agile mine. I've made some back-of-the-envelope calculations right now. I'm not sure I'm correct. Just by taking the revenue from lead concentrate sales and dividing it by last year's average exchange rate, I come to $15.2 million revenue. Dividing this by 4.8 thousand tons of lead and concentrate produced, I come to approximately $3.2 thousand per ton average price, which significantly exceeds the average LME price for this period. What was the reason, if these numbers are correct? Was it because of some inventory sale or something else? Thank you.
Sigalovic, Commercial Director. If we talk about the premium which we had on the Russian market, which was really remarkable for a number of years, I can only confirm that this year we are on the same level of 50%. And I do believe that by the end of the year we'll keep it on the same level. Next year we are going on with a slight increase. Well, it will depend, of course, of what's happening on the market, but I do believe that 15% will stay in the game, and it will be accepted by our buyers. Reason is pretty simple, actually. If you calculate the cost and the low zinc price, going down below the 15% doesn't make sense. Because in Rotterdam or Antwerp, zinc price should be with a premium of $100, plus transport, plus import costs, plus this import duty. It goes up where we stand at the moment. if you are talking about the PC, if we are talking about the PC, I did make number of interviews at the end of last year, beginning of this year, and I did say that PC should be, concentrate price should be calculated on the basis of around $350 at the base price for zinc 2,500. With the escalators, it was a little bit a game up and down. This has been confirmed lately, although a little bit lower. So the price is the concentrate is around $325, $335 for a bigger lot, even higher TC. And it will not change. If you go into the percentages, we did calculate it's somewhere on a level of 60 up to 62. Russian producer of concentrates, as you know, we have a long-term contract with UMMC, and we did not change anything. It's 60% LME. With the RCC, considering that they didn't perform, we did ask and we insisted on the decrease in the price of the 2%, and that was achieved. Fourth question was about Arjal, if I don't remember.
Yeah, it was about realized price of lead. I'm just using the numbers from presentations. I'm coming to a somewhat highish price of about 3.2 thousand dollars per ton of lead in concentrate, which is significantly higher than the average LME price for the last year. So I wonder if that can be explained or should be explained by sales of some inventory, or maybe there was some other reason for that.
You're partially right, Sergey. Some of inventory was sold, but you can't just divide by price of lead, because lead concentrate contains silver as well. So we sell it according to a formula. We sell not only lead, but also silver and concentrate, and you know silver prices are also higher than, say, in 2 years ago, so it inputs a lot.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I'm not so familiar with the technicals of lead contracts as zinc contracts. Well, if that can be put in very simple terms, what is the, on average, selling price of lead in concentrate in terms of percentage of LME price, if it's possible? Well, say some normal, usual range.
Well, we are also not a big experts on the lead, because lead, let's say, last year, 2007 was a very great, good year to sell lead. Actually, the contract has been signed in 2006. Mm-hmm. But additional buyer was Glencore, actually, Fast Zinc, which is Glencore. And in 2006, when we signed the contract for the whole production of Arjal mine, we got a very good terms. And because they didn't have a cost of transport in case that they bought lead concentrate in South America or somewhere, they did offer us a much better price. Mm-hmm. But in order to give you, detailed answer to your question, we would have to go deep into the calculation and see the points which you are making.
Okay, no problem. Well, if I may, just a couple more smaller questions. I asked you about premiums on domestic sales. I think you also enjoyed some premium, although smaller, of a smaller scale on your export sales, about 2.5%. Was that also preserved for this year? And my last question would be about actually Arjal operating performance. Last year was probably not the best year for the mine in terms of grades and maybe operating costs, do you expect any material improvements in grades and volumes in '08, or we should hold our breath for the next year?
About the premium, concerning the premium on export, although the European, especially the European market and markets all around the world went down a lot compared to the previous year, we still have a premium on export. Why? Because years before we signed a long-term contract with, let's say, US Steel, with Missile in Romania, and some other buyers. And we had a fixed premiums, which I don't want to tell you they're very high at the moment. I don't want to embarrass them. But they do honor their contracts, and they do pay today this high premium. So our average premium is still above LME.
Mm-hmm. And that's also, we do anticipate some improvement in the current year, and especially in the second half. And our forecast for this year production is 35,000 tons of zinc and concentrate compared to 30 in 2007.
Mm-hmm. And at what approximately average grade, if possible?
Average what?
Average grade, the head grade, or the grade of the mill.
Let's say roughly 3% as an annual average.
Approximately 3%, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. There are no more questions in the queue at this time, but if you do wish to ask a question, please key *1. Okay, another question. It comes from the line up.
Kirill Chirko.
Ed.
Hello, thank you for the conference call. I have basically two questions. Number one is based on your quarterly financials that you disclose, in the fourth quarter of '07 you generated just $5 million in net income with zinc prices of nearly $2,700 per ton. Do you feel that you generate any profits right now with zinc prices below $2,000 per ton? This is the first question. And question number two is your cash costs, total cash costs for the year 2007 were about $1,900 per ton of zinc. Where do you believe this figure will go this year, next year, given that labor prices are rising ahead of inflation, given that electricity prices are rising as well? Thank you.
Well, Kirill, unfortunately the line quality is awful, so I couldn't hear your question completely, but I can guess that you are asking about costs. I would say the following. We can't control the electricity tariff which is growing, or we can't control the ruble-dollar rate. But what we do control, first of all, we are increasing the share of our own concentrate, Agile, which we are going to increase by 5,000 tons in the current year compared to the previous year. Then, a very important thing is skill number 5. In 2006, we were forced to increase our stockpile of cake by 29,000 tons. That means that we have thrown away temporarily 5,000 tons of zinc in concentrate. In concentrate we paid for. And in 2007 the balance was about 0, and in 4 months of 2008 it was vice versa. We managed to process over 5,000 tons, over 13,000 tons of cake from this storage. That means that we produced almost 3,000 tons of zinc from a raw material which was free. And concentrate is the most important part of our cost, so this is a big change. And then, as Beresov already said, the trend on the concentrate market is such that the concentrate price in the current year will be lower than in 2007. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, partially, but maybe can you quantify where the cash costs can go? Because cash costs in the year 2007, they were at $1.9 thousand per ton. This is the current LME price of zinc. So basically, currently you should be virtually breaking even, so there shouldn't be any major profits right now. So where do you expect maybe some efficiencies, operating efficiencies on mining, on smelting? Where do you think they will help zinc costs to decline at your production facility?
I wouldn't like, to do any so-called forward-looking statement, but I think that, as I already said, concentrate, which is the most important part of the cost, is under our control. Another thing is that fixed costs per ton of zinc are easily controlled by increasing of the production. We produced 165,000 tons of zinc in 2007, and we are going to produce at least 170 in the current year. But again, I'm not going to announce any numbers because they are highly dependent on ruble-dollar rate and many other things.
And just my last question, can you provide some capex guidance maybe for this year and for 2009, if you can? Thank you.
Our capex for this year is more or less on the level of 2007. And to be more concrete, I'd say that we are going to invest about 250 million rubles into completion of reconstruction of sulfuric acid system number 4, and 200 million rubles into the calcination unit for well oxides. And our investments in Nashville are expected on the level of 200 million rubles in 2008. And if you calculate the total, it will be somewhere near level of 2007.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. The next question comes to the line of Sergei Donskovoy.
Thank you. Just a small follow-up to a question, one of the questions asked before. Could you give some approximate number or guidance for the growth you expect this year in power tariffs and in labor costs at Chelyabinsk?
Total payroll is expected to be 15% higher than in 2007.
Okay,
and power, same, roughly 15%.
Also 15%, right? Okay. Okay, thanks.
Is that the end of your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, there are no more questions at this time. Okay, Sergei, we have no more questions.
Well, then I suggest that we conclude the conference call. And thank everyone for participation.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation. That concludes your call for today. You may now disconnect your lines. Have a great day.
You too. Cheers.
Cheers, bye.